Welcome to Seriously Uncork Yourself. I am your host, Lynn Kuhn, and this is a podcast that brings to you a firsthand look at what it seriously means to meet people where they are in their life. Enjoy the experience from illusions to reality. Find out what it is to restore to high performance, renew your freedoms, and rejuvenate playfulness. I can't wait to share with you my experience and the experiences of many others in hopes that you feel inspired to renew yourself and live your best life. Thanks for listening. Now let's get started. Today, I am so thrilled to have Jessica Higdon as my special guest. Jessica started in the network marketing industry when she was only 21. Because of her age and lack of business connections, she had a very, very small warm market. After striking out with family and friends, like sometimes that just happens, and not signing anybody for business for like 5 months, she decided to turn to social media. So over the next 18 months, Jessica built a 6-figure residual income in her company utilizing Facebook and became the #1 female earner. How cool is that? Welcome, Jessica. How are you?
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, gosh, it's a privilege having you here. I would love if you could just start out and explain to our viewers a little bit more about yourself, and then what was your journey like from being that young girl with nothing to, knowing about what the business that you're going in until you today?
Like Lynn mentioned, I was young building my business, and I was working at the makeup counter at the time and going to school full time at the time. And so 90 to about 100 hours a week of my time was already committed to other things. And it was crazy because even with all that time that I was putting in, I realized that I was still yet living paycheck to paycheck. And I thought, that's all going to change after I get my degree. Like, I'm going to get my marketing degree, which is what I had my schooling in. And I'm going to go on these interviews and get this job. And then, I'm going to feel a little bit more comfortable and things are going to be easier. Well, what ended up happening is I went on something like 10, 11 interviews for my specialty. And really, I was going to be making less money and working just as many hours, and maybe there would be a little bit of room for improvement or a raise within the next 10 years as I got more experience. And so I looked at that and I said, okay, what can I do instead of this for the next 10 years and really put my focus in that's going to make me more money and give me more time and actually create leverage and power in my life. And so network marketing fell into my lap, and I didn't know anything about it. So as a 21-year-old, I hadn't heard any stigmas. In fact, I had been approached many times before in college, but I didn't know that's what it was, and it just wasn't the right time for me. I didn't have any preconceived notions about what network marketing was, so I just looked at the model and said, okay, this makes sense. This is something I can do. So, but I didn't have any experience. So I went to all my warm market. I went to my parents even, and they all said, pyramid, you're crazy. What are you doing? Or they would just say, oh, you're so cute trying to build a business. Like, that's what you want to hear when you're trying to be a serious business person, right?
Right.
So I struck out, and I was feeling down and kind of depressed about what I was doing. And I wasn't sure how this was going to work for me. But what kept me in, honestly, because for 6 months, I was working really, really hard, and I didn't sign up a single person. And what kept me in was seeing the stories and the people that were succeeding and the people walking across that stage that I knew I could do what they had done because they weren't anything special. I mean, not to put them down or anything, but neither am I. Like, they weren't anything special. They didn't have any like special connections or anything like that. They were just people. Mm-hmm. So I knew I could do it. And I saw somebody that was building a traditional business on social media. And I thought, well, I wonder if you can, because back then Facebook wasn't a big thing. This is going on like 11 years ago. And so I thought, I wonder if you can build a network marketing business using social media. And so I just started playing around with some tools and doing some different things, and ended up recruiting my first person, which that first boost of confidence is like, awesome. Okay, this is working, and just multiplied that from there. And now my husband and I have actually, people kept asking us, how are you doing that? How are you doing that? And we kept creating these free trainings for people, and people wanted a course, like they wanted something they could dig into. So we started creating courses and trainings, and that training company grew and grew and grew. And so from there, we actually sold our positions in network marketing. So we no longer build a company now, but we just train for the industry. That's where we feel we can make the biggest impact. And our company's been featured on Inc. 5000 and is one of the fastest growing companies in the US. And we're just very, very blessed to be a part of this really cool, awesome profession. And we love, love, love what we do.
And we love you too, Jessica. You and Ray both. You guys are awesome. I mean, seriously, I had the pleasure of working with you guys. What was it? A year and a half ago, 2 years ago now already?
Yeah.
By. And you were just you guys were the foundation of everything that I'm doing right now. And it's just like, seriously, it's just like that progression and meeting everybody that I associated with you guys. That has just helped me immensely. And I am so, so grateful forever for you guys. Always, always, always. And I do want to tell our viewers just a little bit more about you. Now, you've also built a few successful courses too, right? You've done a lot of course building.
Yes, we have. I had this mental block of why would anybody pay to listen to me? And I had that for a while. And so for really like the first 3-4 years of our network marketing career, I didn't do any courses. I just did free trainings all the time. And people, I would get people here and there saying, oh my gosh, thank you so much. You've helped me so much. Mm-hmm. But until I got over that mental hurdle and I actually went through and backtracked everything I had done and put it into a specific format and made it a course that people can follow. Until I did that and started charging for it, because people don't take seriously things that they don't pay for, to be honest.
That is
I didn't get nearly the amount of testimonials and people that we've impacted from those specific courses. So literally after I launched my first course, not only did it do very well, but which I didn't anticipate it either, but it generated us and has generated us thousands of testimonials of people that have said that is how they got their start to making money outside of their job, which is awesome.
That's absolutely awesome. And your courses are fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
Both of you and Ray's. I mean, I've had both, and you guys are just phenomenal. And another question I have for you is, we talked about Facebook a little bit. And so because I know that's where you basically started, but how do you feel about Facebook nowadays? This is just more of a personal question too, because of all the changes. Have you noticed that as anything that's deterred things in your business, or do you feel that it's just another thing to just conquer when Facebook decides to change?
If you just stick to the basics and you just stick to really knowing that the root of most businesses, not all, but most businesses, is people, then it makes it very simple for you. So if they change a gadget or a widget or whatever, you know that you're still reaching out to people every day. You still have got that circle of influence that you can tap into. And that's why, we're big believers in creating those relationships and getting people to know, like, and trust you, however you do that, whether that's through video or reaching out to people every day. We recommend kind of a combo, or, groups, things like that, or just however you can do that, your stories, to get people to know, like, and trust you. Then wherever you go, there you are. And that group kind of follows you, and you can tap into that for whatever business that you decide to produce in. And there's some controversy about Facebook, Instagram, understand that Facebook owns Instagram and Facebook is not going anywhere. Like the things that they're developing are unbelievable. And the fact that, I mean, you got to look at Facebook and think, okay, they have marketplace now, right? Mm-hmm. So they've now taken over the market of any Craigslist or anything like that. They have job postings. So they've now taken over the market of any, monster.com or anything like that. Okay. Mm-hmm. Or recruit.com or whatever those other websites are. Right. They have a new stars program that they're implementing where you can actually send people money through the platform or in the form of stars, like they're gamifying everything. You can actually send friends money. They are so intelligent that they are absolutely for the next, at least in my opinion, 50 years going to own this space. And you would be doing a detriment to yourself if you didn't at least tap into some of that potential. And so whether it's Facebook or Instagram or whatever, and there will be other ones that come along that you can do just as much with. You could even do it on Twitter if you want to, but just understand that the whole premise is people. And if you can really tap into how to communicate and get people to reach out to you, you'll be fine whatever platform that you use. And so I don't think Facebook is saturated. In fact, I have a training on this. If you go to higdongroup.com/networker, talks about all the reasons why Facebook isn't saturated. I think that you just need to adapt and learn how to use it more effectively.
I love that. And that is so true. And I was waiting to see what your answer was going to be and if it resonated with what I thought. And I totally agree with everything that you said. So with a brand new entrepreneur, somebody that's brand new, just coming into the world of entrepreneurship, what would you suggest to that person to help simplify that, him or her?
One, stop comparing yourself to other people. It can be really easy to get discouraged that way. And Ray and I still do it. We still compare ourselves to other people. There's always going to be somebody bigger than you. There's always going to be somebody that is smarter than you, prettier than you, whatever. And so that's not going to serve you in any way. And I'm not saying that that's never going to happen. You're going to compare yourself to other people. It's going to happen. It's just stopping that thought and moving it into something producing. Mm-hmm. So number one, I would say just don't compare yourself to others. Find what your next step is. So figure out where you are, figure out where you want to go, and what is your first step. So maybe that's reaching out to 5 people. Maybe that's tapping into, I know this person who is really, really good at social media and we should have a conversation. Maybe it's partnering with someone, getting an accountability partner, getting somebody into your realm that you know of a topic that you know nothing about. Maybe it's, making a few sales calls. What is your first step? And just focus on that. And I can say that most entrepreneurs focus on everything else except for sales. And the number one thing that you need to get right now is sales. And so however you can start doing that is really what your first step should be versus, oh, you know what, I should really set up my LLC. Well, don't worry about that until you actually have money to put into your LLC. So just focus on those things.
That's so true, because the LLC was a big thing with myself even. And here, March 15th came along. I didn't know you had to file that by March 15th. So April 15th came and it was just like, so then I had to call them. So yeah, I did all that. I had everything. So I felt I had to have this, I had that, but the actual thing and is your sales and what you have that you can help someone else with. How can you serve that person? So I love that. What about now? This is the biggie. Dum, 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 dum. How do you balance all this with family, Jessica? How do you do it? Do you have any special little tips that you could give anybody just in general?
It's chaos. I'm not even going to pretend like we have it all together. It's total chaos pretty much constantly, but you learn to love the chaos. And I have a lot of help. Many women, they have 2 excuses, right? Like, if I get help, then it'll be taking time away from my children and I just don't want to do that. Or 2, I don't have the money for help. Those are the 2 main ones that I hear. Well, speaking to the first one, I can relate because that was I have the money for the help, but it was my biggest thing. Like I would feel guilty for having somebody stay overnight with my baby. And what I realize is they're never going to remember who did the laundry or who folded their socks or who even at 2 months old slept in their bedroom. They're never going to remember that. Yeah. They're going to remember all of the games that you showed up to and how you showed up in your own life. If you think about what you remember from your parents, all I really remember, I don't remember every little thing. All I really remember is how they showed up in their own life and as a parent. That's how I remember it. And so you have to think about that and realize that the more that you create leverage in your life, the more time you can focus on the important things with them. And so now, because I got the help, and this brings me to point number 2 of not having the money, because I got the help, I'm able to do so much more inside of my business and with the kids that really makes the difference to them, like attend their Christmas shows or, take Sabrina to horseback riding and gymnastics. And we're going to start her in Taekwondo and all these cool, fun things.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. And I now have a night nanny who is so much better at taking care of a baby than I am because she's professionally trained and I'm getting sleep. And so in the times that count during the day, I am more focused and present with the kids than being like a zombie. Right. And so, it's those little things. Now, you may not be able to hire a night nanny or hire somebody to come in and watch the kids 24/7. But most people, if you sold a couple things on Marketplace every week, you would be able to get a couple hours a day of help throughout the week. Or do a trade with your friends. You have some friends with kids, say, hey, I'll watch them this week if you watch them next week. Or have family come in, whatever you have to do to get that extra help, or have somebody, sit down with your spouse and your partner and say, how can we manage this and get the laundry done? So often we're so involved in the day-to-day, and I'm sure you have heard this a million times, but we're so involved with the day-to-day that we forget to take a step back and kind of plan out how the logistics, right? How are we going to make this work? So the long way of answering your question is I have a ton of help. It's still total chaos, but I'm learning to love it because I know I'm going to miss this chaos when they're older. And we just do what we have to do and don't look at it as a bad thing if the kids are screaming and I've got to do an interview. It's like, it is what it is. It's a great thing, actually. Just changing your perspective around it is huge.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that. In fact, you gave me goosebumps when you're talking about showing up, because as a child, my parents weren't the parents that showed up much ever for anything. And that's one of the things now of course, there's so many of my grandchildren. Sometimes it's hard because you have to pick and choose.
Sure.
That makes it difficult. But things always seem to fall into place, Jessica. It just does. Like I had 2 on the same night for Christmas. Well, a party program. And I'm like, oh, okay. So whose do I go to? Well, then I was afraid to say anything. I thought, I got to say something. So I did. And then I found out that the older granddaughter, she's like, oh, Grandma, just forget it because I'm not even doing anything in the Christmas program. So she was just like, it's okay, and I was just like, oh, okay. And then, of course, we went to all the other ones because my oldest daughter has 4 children. So I got to go to the other ones. And so it all works out. Sometimes you just have to ask too, but the thing that you said this about being present is to me so important. And I really appreciate that you brought that up because I believe that is so true. Okay, great. Thank you so much. So we'll put the links on the bottom of this video. And I so appreciate you coming today, Jessica.
Thank you, Lynn, for having me. This is awesome.
How busy you are, and I just appreciate it so much. And can you give the kids a hug and kiss for me?
I will. They'll be very excited to get more hugs and kisses. We've got them all morning. So.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, thank you so much.
No problem. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you for tuning into the show. I hope this brought out your passions, ignited you, and inspired you to restart and reclaim your life. Please subscribe to my podcast and feel free to leave a rating and a review. Until the next episode of Seriously Uncork Yourself, you can check out more information at lynnkuhn.com. That's Lynn, Lynn, Kuhn, Kuhn.com. Be sure to tune in for my next episode. Sending you all peace and love until our next time together. Seriously, uncork yourself.